that the club was a project that was used and then was transformed over the last, well, actually over the last 20 years or so. And if you've read the newsletter and heard the small talk, and seen it on Facebook and, you know, ABC News, it's about that telescope way in the back of the room, the so-called, the old club scope. The,
Which we're raffling off, right?
yeah, you did buy your tickets for $5 each, right?
$5,000 will take that scope home. Maybe.
Maybe. Anyway, so what we're going to do is just talk about what little history we know, because the only one here who would know said he doesn't know much about it, but he probably knows about skeletons who are buried under it.
Chris, how about you and Martin go up near the screen there and maybe you can, two of you can shed some light.
The little bunny rabbit says,
What did you say?
can you just go to, what is it called, slideshow, and then it's just a picture, we don't see the side images?
Yeah.
I do know that much about PowerPoint.
With distracting.
The old club scoff. Yes, that's what it is.
What are you doing, mate?
I don't know why it's not,
Well,
the screen is just, let's see, I'm trying to figure out what the screen is.
Maybe we'll have to go back to the
Is that on the projector though?
There's a projector. Wow.
Why would the projector be there?
Is your laptop in the way?
No.
No, it's on the
No, it's just the way it's talking to it. It's,
No.
okay, we'll make do with
That's
this.
fine.
Yeah,
Can you guys see it okay?
Yep.
okay. Anyway, the old club scope, I got involved with the club in early 1994. It's hard to believe how long ago that was. Martin got in not long after that, because we started to change over the club right around that time. But anyway, it's not about, just talking about that. It's just that that's when we first encountered the old club scope. And it was a project that, as far as I can tell, I first saw the scope itself in like 1992 when we had Astronomy Day at the Planetarium, the first one we ever held there. And I remember the club members came out and they set up various instruments, and there was this big old blue doll off to the side. And somebody said, oh, that's the club doll. It's like, okay, cool. So anyway, from its appearance, it looked like it had probably been in use for many years before 1992. So I'm assuming it was built in the 1980s. What Dobbs became really popular beginning in the early 80s, so it was probably an 80s project. Is that correct, Bob? Do you remember anything? Okay. Yes, we just got confirmation with a yacht on that. So anyway, that telescope was the main outreach instrument for the club. They were doing outreaches back in the day. I believe it was just a very small contingent that was actually doing it. I remember Bob Harrington used to talk about going to schools, and his talk was called, "What's Your Sign?" He did it kind of like about astrology and the night sky and all that. And then I remember Kenny Gibbons and Dave Garcia would man the old club scope. And so there were at least 3 or 4 of them that would go out and do this, and I don't know, maybe there were a few others. So outreach has actually been a part of the club for a very long time. It wasn't something that we just started when we kind of took the club's reins 20 odd years ago. But we've been doing it at a much, bigger scale. More volunteers, more scopes, a lot more activities. So anyway, that was the reason the scope was created. And of course, back in the day, the club did a lot of telescope making. And, we still have one fellow still doing it, Right, Bob? Just say yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yes. Yes. Emphatic answer. Yes. So anyway, this was a product from the days of telescope making. And I remember seeing it dragged around to some of the outreaches when the elderly gentlemen were doing them. And then we started losing those dear guys in the late 90s.
That was still a solid tube then, right?
Yes, well, I'm just talking about the scope in general. Do you have, I guess we don't have any pictures of the scope previously?
We couldn't find any.
Okay, but I mean, even when you got it with the solid tube and everything?
It wasn't a solid tube when I got it.
Oh,
I'll
that's
tell you
right,
about
that's
that.
right. This scope has undergone many changes over the years. And let me explain how, the reason why the club doesn't have anymore. You know, we call it the club scope, and it's obviously not really club property anymore. What happened was, Bob Mortimer, some of you may recall, he was a club member, and he had sold us a Celestron 11-inch. And it had a clock drive, and it was good optics, so we had that for our club scope. In fact, I was like the monitor, whatever, for a long time. Then Fidel wound up with it. He used it, took it to outages. Anyway, so all of a sudden that club scope became kind of secondary. And around that time, Mr. Freeman here, take a bow, Mr. Freeman. Okay. Mr. Freeman was really getting into the hobby of amateur astronomy and was looking to get a telescope. So, you know, what better scope to give someone than a good-sized dog? And we really didn't need it anymore, so Scott wound up with it. Well, instead of just keeping it in its then current appearance and, you know, form, various members like Bob Mortimer, Martin here, a few others along the way started to modify the instrument. And so the original appearance changed probably at least, what, 15 years ago from what it was. But it was all in the name of improvement. So it went on and on. And have you got anything to add, Martin? Don't just
Well,
stand there.
At this
He's
point,
just keeping his coffee warm.
yeah, I was waiting for him to ask. At that point, I got involved with Scott to try to make it more portable. He came to me and asked, you know, is there a way we can make this easier to carry in my vehicle? And you had different vehicles back then. I know that this was a big,
You gonna punch me?
No, no.
a big, awkward, heavy tube. So I said, let's try to make some kind of a framework just so you can put it in two or three parts into your vehicle and carry it that way. So we spent quite a bit of time using scraps of metal and on my back porch and drilling and, you know, cutting and everything, and wound up with a kind of a framework that was lightweight and attached to this bottom tube section here. And nothing elegant like this. It was a stiff frame.
That is the frame. That's what you're
That's
talking
all
about.
right. It's all original.
Oh, this is original.
That's original.
Oh, I didn't recognize it. Yeah, that's right. There's the cross pieces.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
put the cross pieces in there to stiffen it up. You could detach it down here. Some of you remember this, with knobs down here that went into the tube with wing nuts and so on. It was very low tech, not something that you know.
The Dobbs are low tech.
It's just a low tech backyard kind of thing, but it worked.
Great for casual observing.
Just for casual observing, it slipped into the top rings here, and you could observe through it. We had it balanced out with some clunky heavy weights in the back, because Scott was insistent on having this enormous, as you can see, finder scope on there, an 80 millimeter refractor with a little diagonal on it. That thing was heavy.
There's
So
the scope right.
balance was an issue. So we had to put these big clunky weights on the back, and it was difficult to carry, difficult to assemble, and difficult to balance. But
You could see the one weight in the
Yeah.
first picture. Perspective and go back.
go back here.
The weight.
You can see the gray one there.
Oh, on the bottom.
Yeah, on the bottom.
left, 7
Yeah.
o'clock.
Yeah, and
That came
then-
from Bob Mortimer's diving weight we stuck on.
I think that's solid lead.
It was solid lead.
Yeah.
It
And
weighed
then there
about
was another-
6 pounds.
And that's one of the two.
Uh-huh.
The other one weighed 8 pounds.
The other one was a steel counterweight made for a telescope, and we had that bolted on there. But, you know, it kind of balanced it, but it was awkward, and I decided we can make this thing work for now until Scott finds a better solution. We'll just kind of hobble along with it. So Scott hobbled along with it for a while. Scott, you can tell about that experience.
Well, okay. I found the scope it was over at Valley College in a closet, and I asked,
Talk to them.
oh, hi there.
You're right.
And I asked Bob Mortimer, what is this? He says, that's the old club scope. It was kind of a light blue. It was kind of in disarray. It was a single tube. And so I took it home. I wanted it, and I had it just power coated all black. And I went around with it for a while. I brought it to Martin at one point and said, you know, this is too heavy to carry, so help me out here. So Martin and I cut it down with a little bit of help from the shop, And we cut it down and we put it together and we used it for a number of years. After a while it worn down. I built the base, you know, just the particle board that it stood on, it kind of got dilapidated. And at one star party, Chris and I were at Grandview and we were trying to work it. And it was kind of tired and worn out. And after about an hour we said, we're going to use another scope.
It just wouldn't move well.
No, and if I put a 2-inch eyepiece on it from 124, it would fall. So we gave up. So at that point I approached Rue and she did some preliminary work on it just to get it going. And then last year I went to Rue and I said, hey, how about if we really redo the scope? Would you be interested? And she looked at it, she loved it. She said, I like this because it's an originally built scope. It's not a store-built scope. And she and I began to brainstorm about all the different things we could do with it. She had a lot of good ideas, and I loved them. So at this point, the PowerPoint will show you exactly what we did, what Rue did and Megan did to make this an outstanding scope. And one that I'm very proud to be called mine.
And it also advertises the club. If you look at the trunnions, our club logo's on them, so. We get a plug on it. So, take it away.
Take it away. Here. Do your thing.
I forgot one piece of important history.
We do need to do that.
There is another important piece of history surrounding this club and our telescope. And I brought an artifact with me that I'll show you. Ladies, when you're ready.
This is my here.
Very few people know about this artifact of history, but this is about a particular person in this club. You know, some people through history have rather wisely said that you tend to get the leadership that you deserve. I am hoping that's true in our case. And actually, I think it is true. And so on behalf of this club, I would like to present this piece of wood.
Piece of wood.
The piece of wood says, presented to Chris Clark, in recognition of your dedication and hard work to the San Bernardino Valley College Astronomy Department and San Bernardino Astronomy Club. Jamie Countryman, President. Fidel Hernandez, Treasurer. May 5th, 2017. And it's got the logo on here. It's actually kind of a nice thing. I think
Wow.
it should be hung on the wall.
Yeah.
And I think all of us would agree that amateur astronomy in the Inland Empire in this area is alive and well, largely due to this man.
That's enough.
That's enough, good for that.
Hey, at least they put the E on Clark. Thank you so much. It's always been a labor of love, that's all I can say.
Show it to Megan, so she'll get a picture.
Got it?
I got it.
Good. And I got it.
You got it. Now you just need to find the spot on the wall.
Where's the template?
I'll let that pass. Well, thank you very much.
The slideshow doesn't work that great.
That's beautiful.
The slideshow doesn't work that great, so.
Now we'll just have a commercial break. Now back to the main program.
So do I use this or what?
I guess not then.
You're gonna do it or
I'm gonna do it because the slideshow doesn't work that great, which is.
Okay, so it's the old club scope, and I don't know, has everybody gone back and looked at it? If you haven't done so, you can do so afterwards, I guess.
And we'll look through it.
Can I use the laser or no?
You can use the laser.
Okay. So when this first came to me, you know, I thought I was gonna, you know, sand it down, put some putty on it, fix a few loose screws, you know, throw a paint job on it and pick it back where it came from. And I say that crudely, but I mean, I do mean, you know, with a little finesse.
We knew that would not be the case.
So maybe, so where I started was with the base, so let's go.
Right.
There's no way she was.
All right, leave it.
Yeah, this is in the shop. Now listen, all through these pictures, just, if you've been to my shop, you know it's a mess. If you haven't been there, I'll tell you right now, it's a mess. So just ignore the mess.
That's what a shop does, it makes a mess.
Yeah, and since I lost Sam, I don't have anybody to clean my mess up all day, so.
Your dolly.
My dolly, well, no, that was Olivia,
Oh,
who just graduated last week,
oh,
so.
bless her heart.
Yeah, 7 years for engineering. So, we sent her a big bunch of flowers and stuff. Okay, next, we want to get to, so here's the base. And when, like I say, when I first got it, I was thinking that I was just gonna really clean it up. So what I wanted to do was all these screws right here, you know, I just wanted to grind off the extra, you know, just cut them and grind them down. And then I had this section right in here where there was just a whole lot of slop. That's where you guys had the problem at Grandview,
Oh.
where it was just sliding side to side. So you couldn't actually aim it. You know, you tried to turn it and it would just slide and then it would slide back.
Did that have Teflon on it, or is it just wood?
Yeah, you can see there's a Teflon pad right there, and there's one right
Okay.
there. They were really just like maybe 1.25 inch squares.
You used to have
that-
an insert in the main bolt, but that
Wore out.
lost somewhere.
Well, I had made an insert for it for Scott when we did a short fix a while back,
Okay.
and I did that with a big 3-inch piece of Delrin that I screwed to the wood and then bored it so it fit the post, and that cleaned it up pretty good, but it was still kind of rough. Can we go to the next one?
Just go to this one.
Yeah, so you can see I'm just kind of starting. Oop, that was me.
You got carried away.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Wow, I got a good button, don't I?
Yeah.
I guess I want that one.
Yeah.
So you can see I just started cutting them off. You know, they were really long, and that was like snagging on the interior of the vehicle, or when you try to carry it, snagging on your jeans. It was like Martin said, they just, you know, they were doing it on the patio with what they had.
Right.
And I mean, that's, like Chris said, that's how dogs were done. And so I started cutting them all off, and eventually I cut them all off, and I had ground them all down, and I had taken the wood off to get a good look at the Teflon pads. You know, I wanted, at one point I had beveled the edges, but then I decided I was going to change them out, and I wanted to sand the wood, and I wanted to, you know, clean it up. And somewhere in there, the screw just snapped, and I said no, and the wood just went to the trash. So I started looking at wood and replacing the wood. And while sitting there, I said, well, why wood? You know? So I looked at the super light plastics, you know, the hollow core plastics, and I was like, woohoo, that's some neat stuff. And then, of course, you know, you click on the pricing thing, and it's $345 for this one piece, and you know, you need two. And you know, at that point, I really didn't feel like calling Scott, you know, about 9 o'clock at night, and
And you need $700 worth of Delrin.
tomorrow, so we can get started.
Yeah,
Thank you
know.
for not doing that.
yeah, give me your vet number, bud.
So we thought about it for a while, and we looked at all sorts of materials. And I mean, I went through a lot of material lists and checked stuff out. And eventually, I came back to just aluminum. And by coming back to, you can go to the next one, Nate. When I come back to the aluminum, there we go. I did some figuring on strength and how thick my aluminum need to be. And I called down to the metal house, and those guys, they're really nice to me. I've known the salesman guy since he was, I don't know. I won't tell you, but he was a little kid when he first started working for us. Parts we made at the shop, they had the little part-off flag on the back, and we'd give him a little cardboard box. We'd pay him $5 to sit there and knock the flags off, and you know, he had ice cream money. And he still remembers that. So I kind of get a Jamie Price. And they always ask, is this for the shop or is this for you? You know, well, that's for me. So I went down, I got this 32-inch aluminum plate, and I had Scott initially go buy a couple of cans of spray paint, just different colors of blue, something that struck him, so that we would have them and we could just kind of maybe shoot some stuff along the way, and ultimately he could get around to a color that he thought we might be going with. So
Yeah, we wanted pink, but he said no.
That didn't fly.
yeah, so this is really kind of a Dodger blue. The picture doesn't quite do it. It was pretty bright. It was really nice blue. So I drew an X and then center marked it and then scribed out the largest circle I thought I could. And then the inner circle I scribed, that's where this scope's kind of different in that it doesn't have just the 3 outside pads. It has 2 sets of bearings on the bottom, an inside set and an outside set, and I'll explain that as we go. So these are my inner bearing cups that I made. And really this is the same cup. It's just I was a little closer when I took this picture than when I took this one. So this is the back side of it, and this is the front side of it, and this is the cup portion. How do I do that, Meg?
Do you?
We need to stop pushing that button, huh?
Stop pushing.
Yeah, that thing's quick.
Yeah.
Look at that, you can't even do it. Okay, so the cup is just right here. And it's got like a 1/4 inch flange around it. That's about 3/16 of an inch deep. So this is the inside cup. There's actually 4 of them. And you can see this is part of the original stand. I don't know what that original stand was originally built from. It looks like a Lazy Susan of some sort.
Probably was.
Yeah, I don't know if it was for a kitchen or a chair or I don't know.
A chair.
Did it, chair? All right. So this already had the indentations in it and the holes drilled in it and all that. And so I made 4 inner cups. And that circle we saw on the big blue plate, that's those. And then from the inner cups, I made the outer cups. Those inner cups are only about that big, about 1.75 inches, something like that. These are 3 inch. And then you can see the lug there on the left-hand side. Push the right button this time. There's the lug. And this is the outer cup. And the outer cup, there's the big stud right there. That's a 5/8 11 thread, so that's a pretty heavy duty. And that is a hardened bolt that I had cut off. And then I coated it with JB Weld as I screwed it in and let it sit overnight so that they were married. So I made 3 of those, 3 of the big outer cups. And then this hole here, I don't know why I keep doing that. Then I bored the hole in the frame. And that was a lot of fun because I just set it up on the mill and pulled the out of balance in and just punched a hole in. So 3 of those, 1 for each leg. And then I put the lug in, and then I TIG welded the lug in place. And you can see this little TIG out here. That's just other holes that were in the frame. So I went around the frame and started where there were other holes used for who knows what. I just filled those in.
Bondo.
Actually TIG welded.
Yeah, but I mean, body work.
And then I just ground them all flush. And let's see. I started on my center bearing. So you were talking about it had the center bearing there at one point, Martin. This is the beginning of the center bearing. So this piece on the right here, that's stainless steel. That's about 3 inch. And then the piece of bronze on the left, that's what fits over the shaft. And the piece of bronze gets, that's just flipping them over. And then that's the 2 of them pressed together. And then after they were pressed together, I just cranked off a little bevel angle there and then drilled 3 bolt holes where it would screw to the big aluminum plate. So that's actually how it sits. It's down underneath the plate so you don't actually see it at all, with the bronze coming up through the plate. And then fitting over the bronze, that's my top bearing assembly. So that's actually what's holding the whole scope to the tricycle is this assembly here. So do we have it maybe?
What?
Can you, or can I do it?
You can do it if you got
Okay.
this.
Okay, so they just boom, 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 there it is. And you see the little gap in there, that gap happens to be the thickness of the aluminum plate, so when it's installed. And so that's all stainless steel, except of course for the bronze. So there's the 4 inner bearings and the 3 outer bearings, and the way it goes together is when I set that plate on there, I put the center bearing on with dead thrust. So I'm pushing down very hard when I tighten the bolts on the center bearing to pull it down. And then these 3 outer cups, you can adjust those up and down. And that adds or takes away the drag in the scope. So you can screw them down to the point where it moves very, very free, or you can screw them up and add quite a bit of drag.
Is there gonna be Teflon in those big,
No,
just aluminum?
you'll
right?
see.
Oh, okay.
We're not there yet.
All right.
And this is my mirror grinding machine that I've been playing with for a long time, that all this is sitting on. So if you wonder why it takes me so long to build a telescope, it's because now and then the mirror grinding machine calls my name. So there's the center bearing and the 4 inner bearings. And an outer bearing, there you can see how it, and that's one thing we haven't done yet, wherever Scott went, we need to put the jam nuts on here to lock them in place. So you can see there's a jam nut there, but if you go look, there's none on the scope. Well, let's just not tell Scott.
What's holding the bearings in place now?
What's holding which bearings in place?
Those bearings, the outer bearings we just looked at.
They're threaded in.
Oh, I see.
They're threaded into the frame.
Okay.
Earlier you saw I put the lug in the frame and welded it.
Okay.
That lug is threaded. So they're actually screwed in before you ever put the plate on.
Okay.
All right.
So those nuts are just,
Jam nuts.
I know, but they're not.
Well, after you find just the right tension that you're
Yeah.
happy with, you
Yeah.
can tighten the jam nuts and you don't have to worry about maybe they vibrate while you're driving down some bumpy road or something
that's
like
true.
that.
That'll hold it in place.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Those are pretty big. I mean, the nut for a 5/8 11 thread is a pretty big nut.
Yeah.
So then I had to cut it. And this is how we cut a 32-inch circle in a machine shop. Jigsaw. So I cut, yeah, it took about an hour to cut that out. So I basically just went around it with the jigsaw, and then just went around it with the belt sander, and then just went around it with a file. Didn't take me very long. To find the right blade, and you move pretty fast through aluminum.
What type of aluminum was it? What was the?
The 6061 T6.
Okay, yeah,
just
that's a
pretty
nice
standard.
one.
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
nice
I
one.
don't really use anything other than that.
Okay.
I
That's
just
the
see any
easy
reason
one.
to. There's no real cost.
Well, some of them are
savings.
brittle, I was told, like the 70-75.
7075 is pretty tough stuff.
Yeah.
But when they say brittle, they're usually thinking about like a thin wall where it like cracks.
Oh.
And as thick as that plate is,
No,
yeah.
it's 1/4 inch, right?
So never mind the big 12.5-inch cast of grain sitting on the end of the bench there that we had to forget about while we did this. Right back here, that's the cast of grain.
Like you're building a robot.
So next I moved on to the stand, and in this picture you can see where we've already cut it and we rolled these tubes in, so we didn't really change it that much. We just folded them in,
Had me fooled. When I looked at it, I thought they didn't have to do anything.
No, and then we cut it back. Extension. You can see here's my big extension in my KDK block. So it's just hanging out there in thin air. Working on that, at that point, 14-inch diameter. But still, that was a lot of fun. It was like, oh, here we go. And you're just waiting for it to go, whoop, disappear. But it didn't. So. And then I went to the mill. So I guess I missed taking the picture where I machined all the big shoulder in it and then put the center hole in it. So here I'm putting the 6 holes.
Why is it red?
Dyco. It's like a spray paint, but they call it Dyco. And I use it to mark my locations. You can see where I've scribed.
Oh, so you can see your marks.
Scribe lines.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because some stuff we don't necessarily indicate off and things like that. We just, something like this where eyeball is good enough. I can just draw some lines, take a center punch, hit it, and move on. And then after I drilled the 6 holes and bored them to diameter, I milled out the center pieces to give me the 3 kidney beans. You can see the pieces over here on the side.
Yeah. Look like brass knuckles for a giant.
So there it is.
Yeah.
It is rough.
Yeah.
And
How
then
much weight do you think that took off?
at this point here, it weighed 15 pounds.
So it lost like 45.
45 pounds.
Oh.
45 pounds. And took about a week to get to this.
Oh, yeah.
So
Thanks for
I know it
taking
looks like
the
it
weight off.
happened real fast, but I mean, it did take about a solid week. Now when I say solid, you know, I got to make Papa's tools, I got to sharpen his drills. You know, when he needs help adjusting one of the screw machines, I got to get over there.
Do your job, yeah.
Otherwise, he lets me play, and this was about a solid week of play. And then from that point, you can see my 4 small holes in the middle, right here. These are for the fan, and then these out here are the collimating studs.
Yeah, and the fan's right there.
And then you can see I scalloped it all the way around, just kind of make it pretty. Yeah, there's the fan and the grill we ordered. And then, you can't really see it because I don't think we have that picture, but the inside of this is cut out square, so that fan is embedded down in there.
Cool.
It's embedded a little over 1/2 inch, and what this allows me to do is put the fan between the plate and the mirror cell. So that allows me to not have the fan sticking out of the back of the scope. And you can see where I cut some out here because I was guessing that that was going to be too heavy, and I should have left that in retrospect. But we're going to fix that problem. So there is looking at the back of it again, and you can see it's got the grill on there, and the fan is totally gone. This is not what it appears. This is a Photoshop image. So I took a picture of, remember the white stand?
Yeah.
So this is on our sitting room floor at the house. I took a picture of the white stand and then I turned it over to Megan.
So basically, she took it home, powder coated, and we took pictures. And I have a crazy idea because I was look at the planer series. Like, why don't we just put a planer series to the base? So we decided to go online, search for a nice planer sphere, but we couldn't
We
find the right
spent like 2 nights
to find the right one.
just looking at every, not actual, like you could buy a planisphere. Some of them were just pictures of planispheres from years past, but trying to find the right one.
Yeah, and we kind of found the right one, but the picture wasn't that good, and the picture was very small too.
Very small and pixelated.
It's pixelated. So when I blow it up, it doesn't look that great, so I had to redraw and redesign everything, and
Every single dot. She redid every single dot, every
To
single,
everything,
every
line,
single
everything.
letter,
And tick
everything.
mark and.
yeah.
Everything.
It took me about,
She went from an image that would have been pixelated if you printed it that big,
and
to 42-inch is how big she could have went, without even blowing it up.
yeah, and it took me about 10 hours or so.
Yeah, I do the more work than that, but,
Yeah.
yeah, and she did all of the, the Milky Way and everything.
Yeah.
And this is the Photoshop
So,
rendition.
yeah. So
This
once,
is not the image.
yeah. So when I was done, I just photoshopped this onto the plate.
Yeah, yeah, so she did her image and then she just Photoshopped it onto the stand. And so we could get a look at it to see if we wanted to go any further. So the stand that's sitting there on the floor is actually white, and she just did her Photoshop magic stuff.
So,
And then this is the actual plate.
plate. After we took
You
it
you can see it has the 3 bolt holes in the middle, in the center hole. So this is the actual plate that's back there.
So what constellation surrounds the bolt of the universe?
The bolt of the universe. Does this have a zoom button, Megan?
There's cosmic
You know what, when
meaning
we're done, you go there.
here. We're about to learn the meaning of life here.
that could be Polaris.
It should be Polaris,
Or
but
celestial
somehow
bolts.
I doubt it, you know?
So how did you get that printed on the?
We had a wrap done, just like they do on a car.
Okay.
Yeah, we took it, we got it wrapped where the same place where Bob took it, get it wrapped, so.
The summer sky thing.
So Megan didn't paint that on the aluminum directly then with the?
Just set down a little artist brush,
Yeah,
Indian style.
yeah, right.
Ooh.
No.
Okay.
No,
Just say, yeah, you did.
no.
But I did design it.
Even that's not the best picture.
That's-
Well, the McCoy's sitting right back there.
Yeah. So, next was to build the mirror cell. I was done with the rear plate. And it's important, like I was talking about that piece of steel, it was just, I had it. Almost everything I did with this scope, I wanted to do with materials I already had. I didn't want to call Scott and say, I need $10, I need $20.
Need $200.
One day, Chris said, hey, I got a box of stuff for you. Well, in that box of stuff was this aluminum plate. Of course, it didn't have all these holes in it, but I knocked all those holes in there myself.
Got all those discs?
No, this was, you only had one of these.
One, okay.
This had the pulley attached to it.
Oh, okay, okay.
So the pulley came off.
Yes.
and that hole
Oh, I
wasn't even-
remember that big one, yes.
Yeah, the pulley wasn't even in the middle. Maybe Matt had to re-drill center hole.
Okay, okay.
You can see the 6-inch scale laying there next to it. So this is basically 13.5-inch. And I just put it up on the rotary table on top of a piece of plywood and then just started cranking and drilling holes. And there's quite a few holes. But you'll see why. Because it was a free plate, which was pretty nice. Thank you very much. Or Scott can say thank you. But it wasn't
Thank
thick
you.
enough to do what I wanted to do. It wasn't thick enough. But Chris also gave me this ring.
This
So-
stuff came out of physics when they were tearing down the building, and I'm scouring stuff that could be used. And I'm not a machinist, but I saw this stuff and I thought, somebody will get to use it down the line. And it's
So-
fulfilled, yes.
This ring is 8.5-inch on the inside diameter and 10.5 on the outside diameter. And so the small holes here is where it's bolted to the big plate. And then these holes here are where the swivels go for collimating. So the inner ring, I had a short piece of 5.5-inch diameter aluminum, just kind of kicking around the shop, and I just threw it in the lathe and braced the center section, because this hole, and this hole is where the swivels bolt for the pads. We call them dog bones. I think they actually call them wiffles. Martin, you know?
Not sure.
I think they call them wiffles. So that's my mirror cell. And this is what we were calling the dog bone. They call them wiffles. And these are Delrin pads. And right now I just have some copper wire in there, just kind of helping me get everything kind of centered. These pieces here were made out of, I think it was 2-inch square, also donated. I went down the street to one of the guys I do a lot of work for, asked him for some aluminum, told him what it was for. We looked around in his scrap material, he handed me a piece, says that big enough? And I said, yeah, that's good. He said, get. Ran me off. I said, well, oh yeah, and he said, get. And what he doesn't know is that the aluminum post right here, I was doing another job for him and I just pretended to mess up on a few parts. And managed to come up with 6 posts that I needed.
And then he said, get for good.
Yeah, you know, I lie about him like I do everybody else. I say he loves me. You know, it might be true, but I'm not sure. I had all of this bolted on this plate, minus the little poles. So I didn't have these in here. I had these bolted to it directly with just some little 1/8-inch aluminum underneath it. So I used a dividing head to actually mill those curved while they were bolted to that place. Just crank, 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 and that took a while. Because those are only 1/2 inch thick. A little more than that. They're basically 9/16 thick. And the windows I milled in them, you can see this window over here. I had it on a vertical and horizontal mill. So I just took the cutter out of the vertical position, put it in the horizontal position, and cut these here and milled out these windows, and then just cranked it around and did the next one and the next one.
Looks like something around a Japanese garden. Yeah. Little.
So then I called Scott and said, what are we gonna do? You know, I can proof can this thing, flat black, and that's what we call them, proof cans. Or we can get powder coated, or we can get serious or whatever. And so we made some phone calls, and Scott decided that we would have it black anodized.
Nice.
So we went down and
Do it once and do it right.
Yep.
yeah. And
Yeah,
had
that's
that
our
black-
idea.
I don't know what do you charge us? $85?
But it was about $90 by all the other.
Okay. Plus you drove down there.
Yeah.
But still, it totally made it, turned out really pretty. I guess we could talk about the handle I made. You can see it right there. Those were same thing. I think they were the leftover from those side pieces I made for the cell, for these pieces. I think that was the leftovers. I had a couple of them, and I already knew what I wanted to do. And the handle itself is actually part of one of those poles where we cut the poles.
That's not a towel rack.
No, it's not. That's what I actually had in mind, though.
Oh, really?
You know, if I could have cut the curve,
Uh-huh.
you know. I'm not very good at cutting curves. So there we go. This is, you can see I just have the pinstriping tape here that I put right there. And that's only so I can count revs. So when I put the nut on all of them, I wanted to count the revs. And I wanted to see if all the springs came to coil bind at the same amount of turns. That would give me some indication as to whether or not my springs were what I wanted them to be. And if you can see those springs, you'll realize those aren't searcher standard telescope springs. Those are big, heavy die springs. This is the trunnions. So I again, I had some material laying around the shop. I don't remember where this came from. But I decided to make new trunnion bearings. Is that the one, Nick?
Yeah, no.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
So I don't have a cutter as big around as that tube, but by tilting my head sideways and finding just the right spot,
I wondered how you did that.
I'm just walking back and forth. You can actually see the little narrow groove that is cutting right there, right now. So you don't want to cut all that at once because I wasn't sure I had it at just the right spot, so we kind of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's a single tooth cutter, just one tooth like out of a lathe, called a fly cutter. I think Tom was there one day when I was doing it. Scott was there one day when I was doing it. And I just took the 3-jaw chuck out of my lathe and put it in my mill vise. That's it, Dick.
Yeah.
So there's basically I'm getting close to done. See, I've got it sitting in the stand. I've got the mirror cell down in there. I've got my mounts here for the pads, and the trunnions are there. There's the rest of that 5.5-inch piece of aluminum I said I had kicking around.
Was that a block or a
No,
cylinder?
it's a piece of tube.
Oh.
Heavy wall pipe.
Oh, okay.
And this is how it's actually supposed to pack up. So we still,
R2D2.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we haven't done it yet. What I'm supposed to do is make little short bars that go between the top and bottom, so that when he goes to put it away, he can just set it down there, tighten little screws, and you can even see maybe I've got a cover sitting on there.
Yeah.
So it will, and those, you can see on that one back there, it has the magnets installed inside for the cover, and we'll also get magnets up on top. And then that cover will get just little metal pieces, and so you just clack. So kind of keep it clean. From this point,
Yeah.
so this is that, we bought these poles because we thought we weren't going to have enough time before Grandview. So I thought it would be fun just to throw it together with the full length of poles and see what a 12-inch F8 looks like. Yeah. So, it was
Good work.
it was actually kind of fun to put that together because I didn't climb a ladder to put that together. I just tilted it over and then just let go and kind of had to help it. And once it started going, I just put my foot out and stopped it and said, how's that? Yeah, and then I had to take it back apart.
Hit the light.
Pardon?
Hit the light.
No, the light's up there still another couple feet. There's an illusion there. And so there's after it was cut, Scott had come over to, once again, powwow. We powwowed all along the way.
Didn't you say he used to bring hamburgers?
Yeah, you can see he's got his little drink.
Oh, there he is in the behind it, yeah.
Yeah, I think mine's over on my desk. Yeah, lots of bacon cheeseburgers. That's how you get stuff done with me. In case you ever want anything in the future.
Rue, are you going to tell us
Peter
about?
should do better work.
Rue, are you going to tell us about those brackets and the poles? How you
The poles.
and the brackets that hold the upper and lower?
We bought those. We
Where'd you
got we got those from Moonlight.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Little ball and sockets. Okay.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah.
very
Like I
nice.
say, I wanted to build them,
Yeah.
but we were kind of running out of time.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I had to machine those.
Okay.
Even when they came in, because they came in, they were meant to bolt to like your scope, a square base.
Yeah.
And so I had to cut the radius on the inside, so that and then buy new screws for more our purpose. Like I say, everything, all the screws are stainless steel. So.
No rust.
Scott had come by the shop. I showed him a couple of different options. We decided to go with Moonlight, and he got on the phone. And so. And then we took it up to Flag Hill. So I don't know if anybody knows where Flag Hill is in
Kaipa?
Kaipa?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we took it up there so we could put the two big guns side by side. Scott's was not quite as big as the other one, but it was close. It really was. And we shot a video that Maggie's currently editing. But we had a lot of fun trying to tell Scott how to grab that so that it would come off the ground easy enough. And there he is struggling to get his hands in it. Those hands are not supposed to be together right there.
Yeah, but that's what I wanted to do.
That was a great night. We had some New Zealanders.
New Zealander, yeah.
Yeah, we had some New Zealanders stop by and look at Jupiter and look at the moon. and-
Kiwis.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. They were pretty awe-inspired, so that was nice. Just throwing it together.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
pole.
I wish you there telling him too. He got turned over, Scott.
They put it, yeah.
So and you just throw it on. I mean, it just kind of finds itself, and I like that. You can see we don't really have any pictures of the connection pieces we made.
Just to make it one piece.
We shopped forever to find those. We could not find them in the United States. We finally had to go to Australia to get them. And they're for boats, for the canopies on these day boats, when they just want to.
When you say connector pieces, what connector pieces?
I don't think we have seen in right there.
It's very easy to put that
These
together.
pieces right here, where I joined the
Oh,
tubes,
those, okay.
where I joined the tubes together.
To join the poles, okay.
Yeah, we were looking for lightweight. We wanted plastic. We could find all kinds of chrome and anodized aluminum and stuff like that from Florida, Long Beach, whatever. The only place we could find the lightweight plastics was Australia. Yeah, and then they didn't have black ones, so we got the white ones, and I had to paint them black. And then when they came, I thought I was being really smart. And when it came, they showed up with all stainless steel hardware. So I got these big quarter 20 stainless steel screws and big quarter. So I had to take all that out and order plastic screws and nuts, and we ordered just a bar of plastic that I cut and drilled to tie them together.
So it wasn't all off the shelf, it was still.
Yeah, it was pieced together to make it. It's one of those things where you ought to just be able to go down to Home Depot and get it, and turns out they don't make it.
Now what's your
And there's the
focuser?
two big guns.
What's the focuser?
The original focuser.
Oh, it is? That wasn't
Yeah.
changed?
We did not change the focuser
Okay.
at all.
Okay,
I bought it from Martin. It's a GMI.
okay.
And I bought it years ago. It's one of the old
I did
models
clean it up a little bit and
from the
tighten it up a little
1990s,
bit.
yeah.
Cleaned it up a lot.
focuser-
It
but-
still works fine.
Oh, yeah, it's a good focuser.
Yeah. So there's the old club
There
skill.
should be one more. Yeah.
And we enjoyed it up there at your school, Scott.
Yeah.
When was that, a week ago?
So why don't we, is this the last picture?
That was the last picture.
So
yeah.
let's leave the picture here and Scott can come back up and just kind of give us how he feels about his scope now.
A
Did you
testimonial.
talk about the fan?
The fan?
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
the
he
speaking
didn't,
control.
but we can
I'll do
see
it.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you put a fan on a mirror, a big full thickness mirror from the 70s. You cool off the mirror, you get better images. If you don't cool the mirror, it takes a lot longer to cool off the mirror and get a good image. So, Rue put on a fan in there that has different speeds. Completely quiet, you'll never hear it, and wonderful.
It's a Whisper Tech. It's only a 1300 RPMs fan, which is about half the speed of a regular fan anyway. And then it's on a rheostat.
What's neat about the scope is it's friendly. I put it together in 5, 6, 7 minutes. I am a casual observer, and I like to just look. I don't want to fight with equipment, and I don't fight with it anymore. I just look. I've had 3 experiences with the scope now. The first one was with Rue and Megan in Wildwood Canyon. And then I brought it over to Martin's house on a Monday night, and we looked through it and had a lot of fun. And then I had the opportunity to show it to 100 different people at Mariposa Elementary School, where I've been running an astronomy program. So I guess as an astronomer, I love to look through it myself, but I love to share it with other astronomers. I've done that many times in the last 20 years with Martin and everybody else. But one of the best things for an astronomer is when you get to share it with somebody else, like a kid, a parent, and they've never seen the moon, they've never seen the bands of Jupiter, they've never seen the crater, and they look through it and they're like, "You've got to be kidding! I didn't know you could see something like that." And that's the kind of reaction I got, and that's the kind of reaction I get in this process. In working with Rue and Megan, this has been wonderful for me because we've had many lunches together. I've come in before school, and she called me on the phone. I've called her on the phone, and we just talked a lot. There was a lot of math that went on with getting ready to do this. You know, plan 5 times and cut once. Rue didn't make mistakes because she is just so organized. She's got a book full of information about the scope. And what she wanted to know is what do you want in scope, what are your expectations, what do you want it to look like, what do you want to work with. One of the things that I appreciate is that I am a big tall man, I'm 6'1", but I don't like to use a ladder. I don't use a ladder anymore. There's so many different things that Rue did to make this a friendly scope. So in summary, I don't have to mess with it anymore. I just get to put it together and look through it. And Rue and Megan truly are artisans. So I believe that their company is appropriately titled. And I think they will build many telescopes. I believe that they will repair many telescopes. And as they've done, when I come to a star party and I see Rue in action, people come to her, "Hey, what about this? What about this? This isn't operating." And I see her repairing things in the dark in about 2 minutes. She makes things better for everybody. And she made things a lot better for me because of what she did. I believe that Rue and Megan are going to help a lot of people who are in the astronomy business. Amateur astronomers, people that are in professional work, people that just want to make their scope work again because it's not working very well and they're fighting it. They're going to help a lot of people because they have a lot of skills. So thanks for letting me share with you, and
Megan, why don't you close?
I think we should give Rue and Megan a great big hand.